Hello Blender. Sorry. Hello Blender folks, welcome back. I'm Xenomes and we are continuing this eyes expression progress retakes on this original character of mine. So let's see if everything is set here properly. Yes, just augmenting the soundtrack slightly. Okay, let's go back here. So I'm determined, or yes, to whatever that word, I don't know how to spell it or if the word exists. I have the determination now to solve the eyelashes rig for the deforms here in this session. I hope I succeeded, so I'm not gonna... It can go pretty smooth if I am lucky with the choices that I've made, with the setup that I have. It shouldn't take too long, in principle. But why I'm using this is just... So I was developing the top one, the top eyelash, so let's pick only these vertices here. We are protecting the mesh for wave painting. Then there are 3 control bones for the eyelids on the top region of the eye, and each of them has a eyelash deform bone, which is automated thanks to a copy location bone constraint, which sticks to it that location, and then also a transformation bone constraint, which has this mix add factor or solution. So what it means is that it will add on top of the copy location, it add the transformation. So the map from on the transformation bone constraint, I've solved it already for this and for this. Alright, so we can hide this map from here, but not yet for this one. So we're gonna attempt here. Let's just hide some stuff here. Alright, so this is enabled. We'll have to disable both here to make the new approach, which is we are using the local space owner with orientation as a target to the, here. Alright, here. So this means that instead of local space, it will not use this bone's local space because this orientation is tilted in some bad directions, unwanted direction, and we want to use these axes which are orthogonal to world space, aligned with world space, at least in regard to the z-axis. So this means that this bone will map to the owner bone of the transformation bone constraint. It will use its own local space, right, for the map 2, and as a target of the bone constraint, which is this one, this will be using also the owner's local space. So this gizmo here for this bone, so as this bone moves, it will be using the space of this bone. So even though I pose it anywhere here, it will be using this data here, and so this means that I can have this align axis and still target the bone, right? Alright, so however, to map from, it's slightly more complicated. This is offset because of the how to say, custom shape. So its real position is really there. Alright, so first we're going to disable this so that I can yes, I can move this individually, but I want to see from the perspective of the eyelid bone, this control bone here, because this is unmovable. As soon as we get the bone constraints, we aren't supposed to pose this bone, so it should be automated. What's happening there? It's suffering some stuff because probably... Oh yes, because we need to change this also. Alright, so now it's using its own spaces. So what we do, we pick... Yeah, let's zero out these things. I could do this for this bone too, not sure if it's a good idea. Yes, for this map thing, it should be a good idea. So what I do, I pick this and select this. Because here, to map from the idea, is that I would be picking the... not this, but this. It already is mapped from the z-axis, min and max, but this was from this bone. And I changed the orientations of it, so that now it's not accurate anymore. It might still work if we enable those things here. Yeah, it still works, but it's not precise anymore, so I'm going to have the work to remake these things. So I want to do here just... yeah, let's just pick this value here, zero out, just to have perfect precision here. Not that it will change anything, but just for clarity, right? So this first, this last, so that these local coordinates are of the active bone, the eyelash deformed bone. So I'll pick them with both them selected. I'll try, let's see, what would be the maximum z-axis. So this is the in respect of this z-axis here, which is aligned with world space, right? So it's a clear value. The original that I had previously was a maximum of 0.70, but it would be for an ancient position for this bone. And so it's not valid anymore, but the difference shouldn't be that far, so because the eye shape the mesh didn't change a lot, so so it would be, let's say that 0.3, even more, 0.4. Maybe this will be at the maximum position pose for the eyelash bone, eyelid bone here, the blue one. So it will be something 0.4, right? The maximum. So let's put this 0.4. So this is the range of posing for this bone regarding this z-axis. So this is a range, a maximum and a minimum. That would be perhaps somewhere like here. So let's reset. Then let's see again what that would mean in terms of local coordinates. Somewhere maybe the minimum position we could give it on minimum pose would be somewhere like here. Yeah, perhaps not here or somewhere. Yeah, somewhere like here should be fine. So this negative 0.6 sounds good. Probably it's too much, but it's good to have some possibility for exaggerations. We never know, right? So okay, so this is mapped from. So this is the target map from. Use the target bone. So this is the target bone of the bone constraint. This is the owner bone of the transformation bone constraint. The map from, so it's using the location, local space for the target, but not the local space of the target on edit mode, not this z-axis which is tilted, but the one from the owner bone's orientation, so that gizmo. And it's not just the gizmo, it's actually even the local coordinates apparently. This means that this is why the changes here numerically, they are based as if this bone were starting here, and it is, they are starting on the, but I assume this, I'm not 100% certain, but I assume this is correct. So this means that if this bone started here, still the gizmo for local transforms would be using this one. So still that starting position. I could make a test right now, but it could be a bit confusing. Let's do this. I've just saved here. I'm gonna load. So how can we totally disrupt that? The problem is that because these bones are related, it might not even work. Yeah, the test might fail anyways, because let's say if I pose here, alright, this bone starts there, okay, but the bone constraints are not. So if I reset the pose, okay, stays there. It's bone constraints, let's leave it like that. But this one, which is so what's happening here? It's like it's already suffering changes. Local coordinates are 0 here and are still 0 here. So what's happening here? Let's reset everything here. Okay, nothing happens. I'm going to load anyways. So here, what's happening? So it's mapped. If I move this, nothing happened. Of course it is, there's no transforms here, but let's give a minimum. Let's give some variation, but I'm not certain what's happening here. It moves up, the bone responds, okay, nothing. Yeah, I cannot certify, unfortunately. Maybe it still uses its original position, but it's just the gizmo. This is a good question about spaces. I just cannot answer. But it doesn't really matter here because they start at the same position anyways, so that's safe. Okay, so this is mapped from, we can close that, and then yes, we can re-enable this. Let's reset pose. Okay, so now first thing what we must consider here, I need now it's more a character design thing, a visual thing. We need to know if those deforms are doing fine on whatever pose we make here. That should be for expressions, right? Valid posings, right? At least these interpretations can be avoided just by posing this little forward, no big deal. There are possible other ways to solve this, but that's not terrible. Can also change the shape here with another set of orbicularis oculi rig for the muscles, the flesh skin around the eye holes. I have this set that with bendy bones rig, but it's not, it's invisible right now. It's not what we are focusing, but if you push that mesh up, then the interpenetrations also can be avoided. Anyways, let's see what's happening here again. Let's concentrate on the eyelash shape. Okay, the shape sounds elegant, maybe slightly too high, but it's already too high anyway, so it's not something about okay, this is not wrong. It seems to be working. I could even, let's see. This is cool too, very good. How it goes down. Then this, yes, the middle is a mess still, but the shrink wrap, it's getting some. Probably I got the bone in the wrong spot. Okay, so the shape here, see. Yeah, here the shape is a bit starts to get not wrong, but not sure if that's what I want totally. Okay, maybe the waves here have a little trouble. Maybe there are slow waves here. Let's adjust that. We're going to. Okay, I have this selection, right? Good, and the rest is hidden, so that's fine. Let's go on the bones and the armature, then wave paint. Let's select our bone here. Let's use screencast add-on. Then we select. Okay, so this the bone. Let's use this shortcut here, P, for vertex selection. There's one vertex there that shouldn't be selected. Yeah. Alright, so when I do this, it gets selected. Okay, so this is dangerous. I need to find a way to prevent this to make my work easier. There are many ways to solve this, right, folks? I want to simplify this. Let's try this. There should be some sort of simplification that makes this adequate. Probably not what I did right there. Well, actually this is kind of better. The reason why I'm making this extra thing here is because of something that may not be a problem anymore, but the idea is that there should be a curvature here, and so this is important for the lateral view, and because there's a protrusion here of these shapes of the forehead or this area here. If the eyelash just goes straight up, it might sometimes have issues there. So for example, let's assume, yeah, I can just rejoin that. Let's say I do that, right? I have a trigon there, but that's fine. Let's consider what if I did that, right? So, well, things seems to be fine, except that, yeah, you see there start to have some. It's very easy to have interpenetrations here. It's just a detail, right? But overall it works, but not for. I see. Perhaps it's just here that I need something. Alright, so let's. And same thing here anyways. If this happens, I can still just push the other bones. Let's make a test here so you can actually see what we could push that, and yeah. So this could also be the simplest way instead of struggling with the mesh thing. But there's another thing, is that the character design of this thing, of the eyelash here in, let's see, in Grease Pencil, has some sort of, it should be going back a lot actually. Let's see if we can visualize that. Oh, we already see the model sheet here. No, it's not a lot actually. I was wrong, but maybe this drawing is also not very appropriated. It's not a lot more, but it's some amount. Here we see it slightly goes. Here should be more precise, right? And the problem is that there's not enough mesh to, you see, to make all the thing that ideally would need. That's why I was making those subdivisions. If we just send them like this, and let's dissolve that, and let's also make a subdivision here. So there'll be a quad. It's not that this is required, but let's just for regularity. Yeah, so this is interesting. It's just the problem is that this goes, does it stop there or does it continue? It didn't pick that one, so that's, if that picked that, this will happen. So okay, so this is positive already for any transformations we want to do here. I had that in the beginning, and as I was messing up, encountering new situations, retaking and trying to find out new approach, then eventually I've lost some of the facilities that were originally orchestrated. And now you see the shapes are good, even laterally we have the mesh going backwards, but there is still this thing that we might require to just adjust here, so it can be annoying. So we want to have this like with the less effort possible, right? Here I assume that we can also augment the mesh here. I have an idea here, maybe just adding this, so something it's a pointy thing like that. Maybe this could be the ultimate. There's a sharp, clear sharp. This is very odd, but let's see what it creates. Does this helps? No, this doesn't. Okay, so that means we need this and then an additional selection here. And do we even need this vertex? This all vertex? Oh, this is the same thing that I had before. All right. So this is just for having how can we redistribute this mesh so that it becomes cool in, yeah, so this is requires some experimentation. Subdivision, yeah, that looks good. We cannot pose these ones because this mesh is not pose, but better not change this because the mesh there is the eyelids mesh already, and that's shrink wrap to the eye surface. Alright, let's see this here. Perhaps let's just move this forward, this to the side view. Let's change this. From a front view this doesn't look very okay. Let's do this and let's mark sharp. I'm liking this approach. I think this can work, but we need to redistribute this slightly better. And I don't like how here it seems to be going back too much, so maybe here it shouldn't do that. Let's smooth this still doing that but it's kinda working the way I want. This is not bad, not bad. Let's see. Alright, maybe just a little more, like forward here, sideways, yes. This curvature, nope. Let's attempt here. Actually, the rest might be because of the... Okay, but it's looking pretty nice, and I simplified it. So this, of course, it's deforming already because of the bone constraints. So wave painting, yes, wave painting. Of course, we want to solve that, but this is not the way it should be deforming. So probably lacking waves there. Let's see what we can do. So here again, now we have this vertex. We select this and then plus that one. Simple. Then I go here, let's deform here, and aha, you see low waves on that border there, and here we could also give full waves. I'm not sure about that one, but we'll investigate. Maybe let's blur a little here, and to have a flow, let's give this, and from this, wait, something, it doesn't want to paint the last one. There you go. Okay, and then from that we start, if it will allow me to. That first one is a bit resistant, right? It's good to have shared wave, blend waves, right? Shared waves everywhere, provide there is regularity. I've already said that for this rig. This kind of eyelash, eyelids rig, whatever, integrated eyes rig, I have a tutorial in the video description. It's a very long tutorial. I don't recommend watching the fundamentals. Go directly to the step-by-step and you'll see if you're interested. It's a custom rig. There are easier ways to obtain a full integrated eyes rig, of course, but I'm glad I was able to develop this rig, this singular rig, through experimentation. I think this should work. Let's see now the effects of this new wave painting here. For the deforms, of course, they all, as you see, it affects the whole top eyelash, but we need to redistribute the waves. This is not out with auto normalize. Of course, this is the bone that. Okay, now you see that part is better. Maybe that is too much hair. Yeah. So I see that apparently this one doesn't require that much waves. So let's reduce that by a lot. Hard to do that with this option here, so let's do instead this, and then let's re-blur. Let's test now. I don't need to leave the mode, I just need to actually leave this one, pick the, or I could have an animation, right? It's a bit hard to see. on this mode. Let's do this posing thing. Yeah. Alright, so I think it's not bad. It's not exactly what I wanted. But it's kind of cool, nonetheless. For some reason it's not flipping. Maybe for flipping it requires that. No. By flipping I mean the mesh is pointing upwards, right? By doing this, now the middle part goes in principle should go downwards, but it's not happening for this totally, actually nearly not at all. So I'm not sure why this is not responding. You see that the deformed bone goes down. I think, yeah, I know what this is. It's just wave paint, because what's happening is that other bones here have too much influence there, and I've changed the setup here of the vertices. So let's change all this. Let's give maximum waves. This is the middle one, right? So let's give maximum waves here. Start with maximum waves at least. Then we gonna start pushing there. Something like that. Okay, and then we start. Okay, let's guarantee this is maximized. At least the central ones, let's maximize, and then after this, then we start making the blurring to have some slow, and let's make this very soft. Then it starts to be slightly okay, so now you have the same difficulty, but it's much easier to wave paint now than it was before. So simplification for this mesh in this rig is kind of key. Here I think that's okay. Yeah, maybe just a little more influence here actually. Maximum here. And here let's leave, let's try just to get this, and then I don't think this is, yeah, so let's try this, or average maybe. Yeah, something like that, and then same here. Here I'm having some resistance. Yeah, you see the waves are wrong here. So let's use this other tool. Okay, so push that way. Blur. And the last one, maybe blur a lot. Then blur that in that direction. Something like that, yes. And I haven't finished, but let's... Aha! Wow! Wow! That's much better, right? Yeah! Of course, we should pause this all together. Here we should revise the wave paint here. And for that one... No, wrong bone. This is here. Yeah! It's not exactly the flipping, but we'll see. Maybe I should revise again the waves of this bone. Well, that's fine. That still works. This is working very well, especially in the middle portion. That part it's too rigid, it's too stiff for this bone, so we'll have to revise that. But this one is fantastic. So look at this. This is incredible motion rate. Incredible deforms, very smooth, very wavy. This is what this was meant for. This rig is meant for. Stylized eyelashes, and look at that. Very cool, right? And so yeah, we can rotate, but these rotations are for the eyelids. It's not some rotation which should affect the eyelash itself, although it slightly does, but it's not the intent. These bones, they have a rotation, but what is going on here? They weren't supposed. I wasn't using them in terms of rotations, but as we can see, they are free to rotate. They aren't locked for motion. No, they aren't. It is the transformation. Now this is because of the copy location, right? It's at max influence, so the transformation doesn't solve that if they maintain rigid, but they can rotate. I don't think rotation for my rig is really important. Yeah, could be useful to try to solve certain things. I don't see an automation of that in any ways right now, because the fundamental thing is already automated here, so we could keep that for corrections, but those bones, they wouldn't show anyways, they would be invisible. So what we might want here is finally, let me just check a last expression here. What if we got this? Yeah, this eyelash mesh. Yeah, I still want to have it all turned down, turn upside down, but not upside down, I mean pointing downwards, the tip not working. Maybe it's just, I'll save here now, because this is we are approaching the point where the top eyelash is completed. Then we'll have only to solve the bottom eyelash, which is nearly complete anyway. It's in a better state than the top one, and then we can start playing out with those expressions for the eyes at least, and see if we can, yeah, I have many of those images, see if we can reproduce some of them with some quality or not. Alright, it's just a quick challenge, an interesting curiosity thing, right? I want to compare. Alright, so what I was thinking about? Yes, wave painting. So apparently I should have some waves there from the bone here. So here I guess there are more waves that are required, even though this might sound weird, but actually there's a logic to this, because this is not auto-normalized. I'm not killing the waves from the other bone. I'm just adding more waves from this one. So this is not destructive process. It's just that I'm changing the ratios. Let's try now. Let's see what happens. And I've saved in case it's very simple to change, but don't want if the results aren't good enough. Okay, so you see there was a variation from the original. Still finding some resistance there. and so it's still not quite working totally, but maybe it's an improvement on the thing that I was looking for. Let's try. I don't believe I need to. I don't think I should strengthen these waves here. This sounds crazy, but yeah, this doesn't seems correct. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it didn't. It's not very good. So it's probably the waves there. We haven't seen this one yet. So do I have enough Control Z? Fortunately, yes. So okay. Let's go back to this bone. Oh, I've lost the chat. Hold on. Okay, so just in case if it happened to me many times in the beginning, if you have any question, any comment, you can put there in the chat so I can read in real time. It's a cool feature of streaming, right? Alright, so here let's add some waves, yes. Let's add lots of waves here and let's see what this does. What about this? Let's check the results here. Okay, that's interesting, but still not what I want. This really looks like there are some rogue waves which are locking. This seems too weak influence there to be the case. Maybe there are bones elsewhere causing that. We can assess this bone by bone on the face rig. There are other ways, of course, but let's see. Okay, so here I don't remember were we having too little or too much influence here. Too much. Yeah, too much. But this too much could be coming from this one, right? So might need to understand if should we reduce this or should we augment here. Let's try first augmenting, giving this kind of yeah, let's blur all that. This is minor influence. This shouldn't do anything, nearly anything. But this part is important, so let's blur here. Let's see now. Yeah, this part is still a bit conflicting. So I still am not sure what should be the best approach for it. Maybe the position of the mesh or the shape of the mesh is bad. Yeah, let's try to reduce the mesh. Maybe the mesh is too large there and it should be smaller. Less interference, less relevance, that part being more important. So could do something like that. This, oh yes, this should be more to that side here. Okay, let's try now. Still not good. It's like, of course, this bone doesn't change this one, so, but it's annoying that we always are having this curve here as we pose here. So this is a the problem of having, it's like we should, this is probably because I've added a new spline here. Maybe if this bone started lower, I'll try. So it's not exactly an eyelash thing, it's more like it's also an eyelid thing. It's like this bone requires some sort of rotation so it conforms better, but that's a lot of rotation. It's difficult to set up. Yeah, this is a big problem here. This is certainly, yeah, because I remember I created that spline, extra spline, precisely because I was wanting some more possibility of deforms exactly on that region. But now what it gave me is that, yeah, I have a lot of possibilities there, but it's now very hard to get this curve for the eyelid very regular, just for a closing eye already. Maybe I should disrupt, go back in time, and I can't, but maybe I can. Yeah, there's still the option of, yeah, it's a lot of work just to have something more simple, right? And the problem is that it affects both the eyelids and the eyelash. It's very hard to control both of them. I need to investigate. So okay, so this is not a dead end, absolutely. Maybe I'm missing something yet here, but okay, so this is bottom eyelash. Yeah, it looks like that's the problem. Too much, when you have too many splines, too many bones, too many controllers and deforms, we can have this issue where we have to pose everything. We have more options, but then more problems. And this is what's happening here. I have more problems to solve now. This was a bit of experimental, this C shape. Anyway, so it's not a big loss. Like the ideal, originally they were separated just like this. You see there's a C, it doesn't complete as a loop. So originally it was just two splines, the top ones and the bottom ones. And now they were connected here, so I'd have an extra deformed bone, a bendy deformed bone actually, to have better control here. And in this case it helped, but look, now I'm having some issues controlling the simplest, what should be the simplest thing, right? The closing of the eyes. This is why with the gapping this thing gets sort of automated, and this would mean that we could have this spline here more regular. So it's like just drop downs like that, and so we don't have to, yeah, so we don't have that much difficulty in having all this curvature there, because this bendy bone, this spline skinning doesn't exist there, this structure. Oh well, so unfortunately I think I'll be better without it. Yeah, too much posing, too much control, too much annoyance. Now, if we consider that what I'm doing here is already not annoying, depending on the point of view, it's already a lot of posing, right? For me it's okay. The problem is that part that, so I'm, yes, if you ask me, I'm ready to sacrifice the C shape that I'm ready to sacrifice that part, sorry, I'm ready to sacrifice that part of the controlling of the shape of the eyelid here for a certain expression, in order to have a simpler posing of the opening closing eye. Eventually I might find another solution to that, but of course all this is related to the complexity of this character design, or the odd shapes of this eye, right? And the methods which I'm using, right? I'm using shrink wrap modifier, which shrink wraps the eyelids to the... Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm gonna make a new file. Sadly, because I was really going about to, so give even a new name here, we'll call it no C shape, no, something parallel eyelids, yeah, parallel eyelids. So this means instead of a C shape, parallel eyelid, so top and bottom, not parallel, but you got the idea. Two lines, two sequences, I should have called. Two bendy bone spline sequence. Okay, but deleting it's easier than the opposite, so let's work on that. So let's just delete here, and that's it. Wave painting should be worked on. Okay, so this is the last bone here, and this is the first bone here. Yeah, the names are all wrong, but okay, so that was it, just deleted. Lost. Oh, I think I've... No, it's just the bendy bone. The bendy bone had all the structures there for the... I mean, these things, so it's all gone with it, so no need to care about these things. And since we are already here, let me make some adjustment before I forget it. Oh, they already have these things. Maybe I already did, so just confirming this. And tangent, this is the new model I'm using. Not sure if it's better, just why not? Maybe it has some advantage. So far I cannot explain. Okay, so I don't know. I've seen no difference to absolute and without those checking options there. Alright, so let's see. Okay, so what's happening here? Is it easier to pose? Well, we didn't readdress the shape key, yeah, sort of less controllers, so yeah, and we can still get some other expressions. Yeah, I need to reassess the yeah, we need to reassess some stuff though, and I mean the starting position for that maybe, yeah, this is a pretty annoying something to do, but required, nonetheless required. I'm used to it, so not a problem. So I'm going to pick these things and I'm gonna go medium and then snap and then push this back like here, and there we go. So it's just one bendy bone spline that is changing, something like that. Then the z-axis pointing forwards, fine, no big deal. Then we make the selection here and then cut the selection, this bone goes there. Alright, now this means that, okay, many changes we'll have to fix, but whatever. Oh, I see something. No, that's correct. Yeah, nothing wrong there. Okay, so now for the wave painting for the eyelids right here, because we need to, yeah, so maybe you think that this is, oh, this is a never-ending story, this is, and get desperate with the idea that I can never complete. I solve something that then I have to go back. Yeah, I admit this is pretty annoying, but it's also, you see the result we are achieving, it's actually pretty cool, so I think it works. And actually, let me explain something. I have dozens of characters to develop after this one. This is for me like the first one, the main one, the most important one, and so I'm sort of exploring the best. So there's some sort of experimentalism in this, of course, and I'm giving so much attention to this thing because it's the only one I have and it's the first one for now. But the idea is that once I finish this one and start going for additional characters that will most likely use the same system or some improvement, this process should be much more faster and intuitive, right? So it's just because this is the first one, this is why I'm giving it so much attention. Let's give this a 6. Let's give this an 8. And as I continue develop and trying out stuff and experimenting and failing, succeeding on some aspects and failing on others, some patterns become more and more recurrent. So for example, the idea of splitting this in two, top and bottom, for example, it reinforced that because it is spline skinning, it's often a simpler approach to the problems, as I've just found out once again why I intend to keep that way and not otherwise. And I took the risk to actually undo it, to do it differently, and then I paid the costs of doing that it failed, right? Dramatically, although I thought it was working. Okay, so I need to reset that and then reactivate here. So there's a lot of little things that we get annoying. Bendy bones is really annoying in this thing. We have to retake. And many other rigs also. Actually, rigging in general, right? Rigging retakes. You change one thing, you have to change everything in a sequence. Logical factors in rigging. So it's very complicated by nature. At least the kind of rigging. So you must be ready to that. Must be ready to face the. So this is because I'm deep into experimentation. Of course, I dislike the idea to have to remake stuff and having. Really, I wish there were simpler ways. But through experimentalism, experiencing stuff, I try to find also approaches that would be simpler. So this is also the magic of the thing. Sometimes you find, wow, this technique, this method, or whatever, this approach is much simpler than everything I've ever done before. Oh, you see here? Here this looks pretty fine. I mean, this is closer to what I was trying to do in all this video. And it's pretty simple, right? And there we go. And there's just 2 splines instead of 3. And the wave painting is not solved yet. So let's try to do that. Let's spread apart this mesh. Let's go here. I'll try to do this fast. Then we get the eyelids. But we need both. Okay, this is a selection. Then we go here. Let's pick this and let's go for the eyelids here. P. Maybe here what we need is give some blur to that part. Yeah. This shouldn't be terrible. And here maybe we could perhaps augment the waves here on that part. Yeah, let's try that. And then for the bottom one, the closest one to the, let's give guarantee waves are wave there, and here we can attempt some blurring. And so what does it mean is that as we now this area has more sharing from both top and bottom, there would be some influence from slight influence there apparently, but that's just enough perhaps to have things smoother. So let's see. This bone here should move something there. Yeah, it's very, very tiny. Okay, so overall it's working. Okay, this is satisfying. I was lucky. We were lucky because this change of high importance of deleting one bendy bone spline entirely, well, not entirely, but deleting the bendy bone and taking off one entire spline or partially that one, and then readjusting whatever, ended up with good results for both the eyelids and the eyelash deforms on posing. It is likely that perhaps I have some difficulty here. I'm not sure because we'll need to try. I'll need to try here. Let's see what kind of pose we can do from this. This bone, let's rotate or derotate, I'm not sure. Yeah, let's derotate this way. And yeah, we don't have a lot of, there's some strange shapes going on there. It's the, oh, that's perhaps because of the, yeah, so need to reassess many things, but it works. It still works, not just need to, that expression still works, but the most important thing is that this shape now it's easier to obtain. Closed eye shape here, very much simpler, and we still have to reassess stuff here. Okay, I remember something I'm forgetting, very important thing I'm forgetting here. Wave painting. Oh yes, all right. So I did make, because I've changed the position of these bones here, I required to, I will require to repose, to reassess the map from of this, just because of, so this is something I need. So first the control, then the owner, then the z-axis, local space owner orientation, so of this one. Maximum pose it could go should be some 0, whatever, something like here perhaps, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0. Okay, let's give it 0.6 for exaggerations. And the minimum, let's give it, yeah, it shouldn't be more than that anyway. Negative 0.2. All right, so negative 0.05. What? Okay, this, of course, because this bone was right before, it was somewhere like here, so that's why it would go much lesser. And also it was closer to the top, so it was 0.4 before. Now it's needs to go up a little more. So just a small exchange there. So that's solved. The map from, done. The map from is like that. Is just we just have to have those calculations, right? And then those mappings of space. And then the map 2 is more dramatical. It's like more, we can actually visualize in real time if we already have the map from done, which is optimal, right? Then we can already start making, see what it looks like. For example, here, let's pick this one. It has the map from done, so we just pick, let's zero this out. Lateral motions not working here, but usually what I was doing about this bone was just that. So as we go down, as we go up, let's just push this mesh. Now I don't know, I'm not sure if we need it, so let's just start by pushing this to the side slightly more. What's happening? Oh, it's snapping. This is horrible. Okay, let's go back here. And yeah, let's push this to the side. Alright, not sure if that's probably not enough. You see the shapes here are not good on this, on pose. So I'm not sure why. So it's constraints, of course, upon constraints. We need to let's give a positive, so it tends to go outwards, it keeps going outwards, but that's too much, so let's give a 0.05 just. Positive axis, you see, it's that direction, so it's just wrong bone. As it goes down, yeah, it could, the minimum, yeah, it could keep going a bit more, yeah, something like that. Alright, that's plausible, really not very significant thing. And let's see for the other part. Too much interpenetration. The mesh is too small. This is another thing. Yeah, it's too close to the eye, so therefore we need to do something like that. Now let's see what we can do here. This is too exaggerated. This top eyelash don't really need all this thing. Negative 0.5, maybe this is could be enough. And for that, also it doesn't need to go up like that. It could be 0, just keep like 0.1. I could even say this also doesn't need, very tiny motion this requires. Wait, maybe it will be better. Okay, let's give just that, and I'm not satisfied with the interpenetration. I don't know why it is doing that. We need to compare to see the interactions and some rotations also. We can, now that the bones are spread, we can, I had damped tracks. I think I can rehabilitate this bone constraint. So damped track on it will go by the end, or it will be before the shrink wrap maybe. So dump track to that bone on y-axis, yes, but at some 0.2. So what it does is that the bone has some natural rotation, and so this sort of an automation for this pose. We can maybe augment that, but we cannot do that too much, otherwise it can affect some transforms there. It's bad for posing manually. And same here, we can do this for that one, so damped track, except this one, it's the inverse. Yeah, let's go to the center to be more precise, and also influence could be 0.3, and there you go. If this is not destroying the although those rotations, they are affect too much that mesh, we need to revise the wave painting for that. It's an eyelid thing, by the way. Maybe that's too much, let's give it just a 0.1. Very subtle thing, and this one perhaps requires more, so that's fine. Yeah, that's pretty cool, but it's not we're not done with those things. We can still rotate this and pose, of course. And okay, what can I do next on this? This bone was sort of solved, right? Although I'm not satisfied totally with this. Let's reassess this curve here. I think I could take off some influence there. So wave painting, but for this mesh, also let's smooth this out slightly. Then let's go on wave paint mode. Let's see the bones, the top eyelash, this from this corner. Let's blur all that and see if we can make some improvements here by doing this, maybe, not sure. In principle, let's assume this should be maximized first. Okay, maybe this is okay, and then after blurred out. Okay, this should be good enough for that bone. Then let's pick the middle one. This is the most critical one. Let's take off, let's blur way more these things, right? And here too, let's here I'm having some difficulty assessing these ones. Let's see if I can get a better posing for wave painting, right? Something like this might help, right? Even though it doesn't help in the sense of seeing if the forms are good, at least for wave painting. If we know what we want to wave paint, that's a good idea. And even then, some vertices remain resistant for some reason. Alright, so maybe here it's where we need to start Okay, so that's a lot of influence, but we don't want that. It looks like here there is some discontinuation. It's like it's difficult to have a flow the way I want, so maybe we should do that manually. Fortunately, there are just a few vertices, so let's see. This is 0.77, 0.4, 0. Let's give it 0. This one is very rebellious. Here we go. This now is not too much. Difficult. Let's try to take them off this way. Maybe from here, yeah, okay, from the bottom. Now it's clear that, yeah, it's this edge here which connects this to this. It gets, okay, let's see. Alright, so this one, let's paint it like, there we go. And now I think this should work better. Let's reset that pose. Let's save. Let's see here. Yeah. No, not very helpful on that, on either side. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is hard. Need more waves there. Yeah, whatever. So I was on the right track before. So give maximum waves and then start taking and start blurring, and that's it. This should be better. Yeah, slightly better maybe. Okay, it's not perfect, but it works, right? It's not like we need 100%. Maybe we should avoid certain expressions. And in the middle animation, we're not likely to see every, like, we're not gonna make a pose like this, right? We could be the process. We do something more adequate, right? And but here I want to fix that part of, right? That maybe not, but for now, right? Eventually I'll find better how to solve that, not in a live stream. Okay, so here I totally need to smooth out this, and I need to find out how. So let's get to wave paint here again. Maybe here yeah, this wave is too much, and the other, then let's give something strong like that. Yeah, something like that, and then that de-blur, but gently like that, and something like that. With this graduation we should have a much smoother result. Yeah, it's much smoother, but this mesh here is too large, so, but it's much better there. Yes, it's okay. This is the shrink wrapping non-constraint going crazy. Now it's outside. Okay, now it's better. We need to, let me see the wave paint now of this bone. So it's a relative thing, right? We need to always, if you change one thing, we should address the other thing, and so forth. It's not like, oh, this is the solution. No, it's always relational. Of course, sometimes we can assume, well, if I do this, it will solve the problem for good. In many times it's true, but usually when you have a complex rig, we need to assess multiple factors in relation between themselves. So this is complexity, and it can be It was actually, this is what makes rigging cool. In terms of the possibilities it offers, right? Okay, so now this vertex is very hard. Okay, from below it's easier. So here this looks good. Let's blur this stuff. I could check my ancient, not ancient, my older work on all this, right? To investigate, well, how I was doing those stuff, right? Successful before, or relatively successful before, and to compare with what I have now. So this could be also a strategy to see if I'm missing something. Okay, still that curve is not satisfying, but I know what's something I can do here is just now reduce the mesh of the top eyelash. So I'm nearly finishing with the top eyelash. They have subdivisions here showing. It looks like as if it was not subdivided, but no, it is. I think that last effort was not a good idea. That bone in that part shouldn't have all that influence. It will make this mesh stiff in the center. So it's more about its corner, so let's leave it there. Let's see. It was my perception, yeah, sort of okay perception. And then what we need, I could also consider, there's too much waves from this bone here, and this is why. Okay, let's do that then. Yeah, I'm sorry that I don't have this perfectly mapped, right? You see those waves here are too regular, right? Heavy waves here in the middle. And then here too heavy there. Yeah, it's getting too heavy in direction to that, so probably can do something about that. Maybe I was not respecting this aspect here. Hold on, now I'm having what's annoying for me, it's the one thing that is annoying is that is this shifting required to lock. I'm thinking about a new idea here, but yeah, I need to be pressing keys. This is maddening if we don't have the practice. Even when we've got the practice, it can be tedious to the point that I was avoiding. Okay, so apparently we need these waves, but let's see. Yeah, it's a bit hard to tell. Yeah, so now for example, I needed to get it animated, right? I should have thought this before, right? Alright, let's Let's get it in a key pose here. But insert. What is? Oh, this is not the. Okay, so pose here. Then let's get it pose here. All right. That's enough, right? This is. Sorry, folks. This is what should have done a long time. I'm not used to make this eyes rig with animation, with keyframing, but actually this is a game changer, right? So I can just play with these bones. And okay, let's see what we can do here. Okay, see how this changed the influence there. Let's pick the other one. What if I give a lot of waves here? Okay, this is feasible. The mesh is pushed too much. From which bone? From that bone? Yeah, sort of, but it's other factors which are pushing this mesh. Yeah, this affects a lot. Alright, well, let's reduce this by doing this. And by... Okay, this is the initial shape of that part, so let's leave it like that. We can adjust that manually. So this is the... Okay, it's animated, right? So we need to reshape this here. Let's see. This is a complication because this, yeah, I remember I have a lot of complications. This mesh cannot be too small, otherwise it will have interpenetration problems. Even when I switch that, it doesn't really seem to have a great effect, but alright, this is seems to be working at last. Then let's reset. You see here this interpenetration things, so the rest pose is compromised. So one way to kind of fix this, those values here. Oh, those values were kind of making things more problematic. We could use something here, right? Just push this slightly forward, just slightly. Like definitively, since they are equal, they will stand forward all the time. So this could be a smart idea. And here I saw interpenetrations, but this is just a question of probably posing there. Maybe this is still too close. What if here we get also some very slight protruding? I don't see anything. Yeah, don't see anything. Never mind, let's go back to what we were. The problem is that this deformed bone don't affect much that part, it's just the beginning there. You see? But that's okay, so feasible. Let's just give it 0.1 to simplify. reset. It's not going down because of whatever. Alright, this is for the top eyelash, folks. This is not ideal, but it allows for a lot of, I'm liking the expressions, right? Kinda good, not ideal, just but good enough. Yeah, pretty good actually. I'm being just perfectionist on small details, but look at, yeah, it's pretty cool. So finally we solved the top eyelash. Thanks for watching, even if not in real time. Now let's go for the bottom eyelash. So it's the last thing we have to solve. So first thing, the map from. Yeah, the mappings are wrong. This I know. We can rehabilitate the damped track. Okay, so let's do the damped track here. I just don't remember if the, let's delete the any keyframes just in case. I just don't remember if the damped track should be, well, I should make some tests after, but hope I don't forget it. Currently I'm placing the damped track wrong damped track, targeting the wrong bone. It should be that one for this, and this should be the target for a damped track here, which is not existent. So negative y target, what? Where's the, okay, object target. Let's do this way, it's easier. There we go. And the amount, this was 0.05 and 0.3. That's why the other was rotating, it was the wrong target, right? Alright, so this is 0.3, there is a 0.3. The damped track, it's before, maybe there's a reason for that, can check right here. Apparently nothing really changed, there is a difference. First it dump track, okay, first it's rotate, then it shrink wraps, okay. Let's leave it. If I have trouble, I will remember to do the opposite. So 0.2, right? And this is 0.2 target, and then let's not forget to put this. This value here, this is too much. This is very slight stuff. Maybe 0.2 will be enough. Even for this one, 0.1. It's very close, so very slight stuff required. And here maybe here, this is actually y. This could be perhaps 0.3. This is negative y. Alright, now I need to assess the, yeah, yeah, this is annoying but required, so let's use the map. We'll reset the map from stuff first of all. So do things in a logical order. So first we start with this one. So we need to disable everything. Wrong bone. It's actually this one, the larger one. Alright, so it's a bottom I did, but now it's the number 3 because okay, just not confused with the top. So this is the bottom and this is the bottom selected later. Then we see what we have here, a positive. So this could be max go where? Shouldn't go way up, makes little sense. Like, let's give it somewhere like here, perhaps. This will be a 0.4. Yeah, that's the exaggeration, right? 0.4 max. And minimum, consider the eye hole can expand. Still I don't visualize where it could be much lower than this, so this will be negative 0.2. Yeah, negative 0.2. Negative 0.2. There we go. Map from done for this one, so we can already reset here and alright, then for this one, let's pick their positions. Okay, this transformation bone constraint map from, let's see, position 0. Okay, so maximum this could go, yeah, let's give an exaggeration like here 1.2. I don't know why would I need that, but yeah, why, maybe not that, right? But something like 1.3. okay, 1.3, and minimum of, okay, let's reset, and minimum perhaps, why not 0. Yeah, I don't see the idea going up down there, right? But perhaps just in case negative 0.2. So negative 0.2. That's done for map from for this bone. Renable, reset poses. Then here, disable. This was already disabled. Pick this, then transformation, then map from. Okay, this is the right bones indeed, not the incorrect ones. So position Z0, maximum. These could go maximum. Really? Okay, maybe just 1. Okay, not sure, but 1 makes no sense to me, but just in case. And then negative could be somewhere like here. 1, really? Yeah, because I'm looking at the mesh, I'm not really looking at the bone. So, and here somewhere like here perhaps, so negative 0.6, negative 0.6, and there it is for map from. Then reset, renable, reset that. Let's see if everything is renabled for all the bones. Yes. Alright, and then let's start to check the. Okay, I could go for wave painting right first of all, but it should be fair. Or but for the wave painting we need to select the. Yes, let's start with some smoothing, although it looks good enough, it did look good enough. So okay, let's go back, select here, okay, then go back here, maybe slightly, let's push it forward. Let's also do this for this one. Let's push it slightly forward and slightly sideways. Let's rotate it. I was forgetting to make this simultaneous change. Okay, this could be good. Yes, this could be good. Slightly motions here. All right. Here again for the bottom one, it looks too big yet for my taste, so let's try this. And it looks also, yeah, whatever I do, it doesn't, it still keeps very it doesn't change too much there, because of course it requires we need to assess the bone constraints. It feels like it is shrink wrapping though. I need to reassess this something here. So if it is shrink wrapping, it would be some modifier thing, like so let's just make sure if that, okay, don't see that here, not here, not here, not here, so not the case. Yeah, that would be the only situation. No, it's not shrink wrapped, it's just some, it's just the way the bones are behaving currently. So all right, wave painting. Yes, let's assess wave painting, because if the wave painting is bad, there's no way the other things would solve it easily, at least. So it will be a natural, so we need to solve it. It's a good idea to try to solve the wave paint first. Of course, let's go back here, let's select the mesh, armature mesh selection, but the bones first, so not this one, this one. So this is a very old wave paint, you see, for the bottom at least. You see how it is organized. Nothing too unfamiliar for me. Let's maximize the corner. Probably it's already maximized, but I cannot be sure, so let's pause that. I could be making an animation here, might be a good idea actually. It's not the bone, it's that one. We'll try to not do it. If it starts to get too annoying, then we do it. Alright, and let's see now about, okay, more wave painting. Now for this one, okay, let's blur this out. What if I get, no, apparently it's okay how it is now. Let's do like this. The bone is going too up, so it's making the mesh move that way. It's not required, so this exaggeration of that bone transforms is unrequired. Wave paint of course has an impact into this, so I think the important thing in this case is just to keep these waves sort of balanced, like let's yeah, they I don't think they are very balanced right now. I'd like some more. It's hard sometimes to get smooth gradual waves. Okay, so here the maximum waves, and then let's try to get this gradual. Alright, and then for the last one, yeah, let's give some maximum input here, then here maybe it's yeah, let's try to do this, and there we go. That should work. Let's see now. We assess the mesh size, we assess the wave painting, and of course we still now have to assess. This part is okay. The outer corner is funny. The inner corner is always complicated for me, the things I try to do. Okay, the last things should be wave painting. That part is, maybe these waves on that part are a bit too, yeah, irregular there. I think there should be more continuity in that one, so let's push more waves there and there, like nearly to the limit, and then try to blur on a very small and then okay, let's try that. Okay, sounds much better now. The flow is more regular and it's going up. So let's start with this one. So it doesn't need to go up that way, so let's go on here. So now it's map 2, the owner bone. So as it goes up, does it need all that thing going up? No, it doesn't need all that maximum, so let's reduce that to 1.8 for example. Now even too much, so let's get on this thing 1.4 maybe. 1.4 is funny, and that position is okay. Maybe slightly less, 1.2. What about it? Good. Okay, I like this. 1.2. And for bottom, it doesn't also need to go down that much. Then it expands the bottom eyelid too much, so this is very tiny actually, nearly unchanged perhaps, right? Well, it cannot keep totally unchanged, otherwise we'll have to reduce the other one, so we can keep like 0.3, and yes, and then we need to think about reducing the size of the mesh, right? Again, it's a problem. So maybe those values shouldn't be too exaggerated, right? So let's try something like that. Yeah, okay, let's maintain like that for now, because there are other influences on there. So this one should be easy because it's already working fine. So let's see. It could go outside too. Map 2, it's already going on a negative. Okay, maybe should it expand in some disorganized way? Minimum, it goes minimum. What about this? Does this make some sense? Minimum, it goes outside. Yeah, could be funny to have something like that, but then let's get some variations. And not sure all that variation, so let's just get something like that. Yeah, that's it. Very subtle stuff, but could be funny. And then what is that? Oh, this is just shrink wrapping madness. You see where the bone goes. This shouldn't be allowed. I'm not sure. Oh, this the... Should that be the... No? Okay, let's reset. Okay, it's not happening anytime, but let's reset. Does it happen now? No. Occasionally it happens, but if we reset the pose, it stops happening for some reason. So, okay, it's not something about apparently the dumped track being there. So here, yeah, you see how it's looking good, the bottom shape of the bottom eyelash shape, right? It's already pretty nice, and with some peculiarities. I think this is too much already, pushing too much apart. Maybe let's keep it just that, right? And not that value. Let's give a negative 0.5 just to... So it's a bit exaggerated, but very slightly. All right. And then, yeah, I'm liking this result. Anything else from this? No, that's... Oh, we didn't even touch that thing. So, okay, so reset. So this is the... As it goes maximum, this thing could go upwards, could be fun. And as we push down, it could go like that. No, this is too much. And so we maybe should keep this like this, and this doesn't need to be pushed like that. So nothing much different. Yeah, it was already cool as it was. Maximum, maybe just... Let's see. Alright, I like that, and maybe just a little more here. Alright, that's good. And now we are nearly done. Fantastic, folks. I didn't expect I would have energy to go that far, and maybe this is... Now there's only the last remainder, and apparently it's already working fine for most of the part. There's some interpenetrations here we can avoid in many ways, but let's see. So it barely moves the bone. So what's happening here? Map 2, there's some positive motion to the... So as the bone goes, let's say, as this thing goes down, yeah, I'm not sure about the what should do. So as this, as it goes down, it maintains this. So let's use something like that and just maintaining this thing, except it will be positive. So that's what. All right, so no big deal here. Let's keep it like that. Then for the up and down motion, this is very minimal. So minimum it goes -1, positive it goes. So let's play a bit with the positive maybe. No, not much. And then let's see the negative. yeah, no, it's dangerous. You see, immediately it goes interpenetration with the mesh, so we need to keep that sort of limited. It's also it should be very tiny mesh, and it's cool that it has some deforms, it's often hard to know what it really needs. Even the character design, the design of it, I kind of, in 3D, I kind of explored slightly different. Okay, I kind of like that, so no big minus minimum is negative 0.1, max is positive 0.1. So, okay, symmetric, even though the map from is not totally symmetric, so mirrored, right? So, okay, this is the conclusion. The conclusion of, hold on, the rest pose is compromised, so we need to assess this. Alright, so this can happen on these deforms. We need to verify what could be what the cause. This usually it's simple. We could solve this by just pushing the mesh easily. Yeah, let's do this and do this. Let's make just some smooth out here, and there we go. Maybe it's not enough. So as we pose normally, you already get interpenetrations. There is that possibility. Yes, let's. The y-axis of the bone is pointing forward, so we could just get something like that, right? Easy, right? So this is something I didn't explore, but maybe that's maybe this is also good for here. Let's see. Maybe this helps maintaining the. I could even do more than that, but I'll do just for the middle. So it keeps. Oh, I forgot here. So it keeps the mesh protruding, whatever the situation. Besides the. All right, folks. Congratulations if you watched any longer than 15 minutes of whatever of these lives for this, at least for this eyes expressions. There's tons of work on this and on these retakes. I finally succeeded to retake the. Oh, there's some small things I wanted to do also on the eyelids mesh. Remember, there are some effects there we can. Yeah, I could assess more issues, but let's just solve this, the final thing for this video, and then last video I will finally attempt those things. Yeah, it will be a special video. So let's see here. I'll even call it differently, challenge. So what I need is the, and I could rename some of the bones here as well, but that I'll spare you from this. Yeah, wave painting. Okay, so I wanted the eyelids mesh, eyelids bottom top. All right, both, because I'm not sure what I will require here. Then as I go here, the bones for the eyelids, they are not appearing right now, they are here. We can probably hide these. Okay, so here bendy bones, so that is what's there's some waves there I could probably zero out. All right, let's make some minimal changes here. Since we are looking at that, I think I can take off. This is the inner bone. Don't need this wave. Maybe here is okay, but not there. Then This was even protected. Let's see this one. Oh, there's some waves there. No, this is I did myself. That part, yes, let's delete some waves here though. Yeah, this is probably bad. Don't want contamination. This is rogue waves on the eyelashes. Probably an accident. This is fine because I have made change. This is a bit too far away, but it's still near the bottom, right? So we'll keep this. Just we're gonna blur this. We want to have them very smooth. Not sure this is working, so let's try to do this instead. And now smooth, yeah. No problem here. The eyelid mesh is protected, eyelash mesh is protected, so that should be okay. Then finally this, yes, this is one of them. We're here, wrong waves there. Oh, you see those vertices, they are selected in the wrong vertex group. They shouldn't be selected here, so we're gonna fix that. So these are lower. Okay, these are correct. We're gonna just make some blurring here, and that's fine. What about here? Okay, this seems fine. No problems here. This, you see, it's not the eyelash, they are black at the tips, so that's fine. And alright, so we just need to correct that. This is normal. That terrible tip there was okay because I was doing some crazy pose just for wave painting. Otherwise, you see, it can be pretty smooth. And then I save. Let's fix that selection, right? It was top eyelid, right? So top eyelid shouldn't have this thing, so remove and lock, select. Now it's good. Actually that was bottom eyelid, so top eyelid, okay, it can go up till there. I'm fine with that, but it cannot include this one. So same thing here, remove, lock, test, fine. And I forgot to test here. This is the bot, so it bottom, okay, assessing, it should end there, and that's fine too. Alright, no selections, return here. Let's symmetrize, right? Let's symmetrize all the bones because we've made a lot of changes. Now the only thing that could go wrong in symmetrization of those bones would be the shrink wrap bone constraint with it's aligned to normal option, but because we've remade these shrink wrap bone constraints using, instead of the x-axis, which is problematic to the bones, symmetries, gizmos in Blender system, we don't have to manually change. The z will of the bones will be always pointing forwards. It's a different yeah, the z-axis is more reliable for this kind of thing, usually, for a geometric reason that I can hardly explain why. But usually when we use the, for legs too, It's simpler to have the bones always pointing on the same direction when we're using the z-axis on symmetrization. So previously I was using x-axis, and then the other sides, it wasn't, we needed to make like this negative x here manually because this thing wasn't symmetrized. Now I can symmetrize, and because I'm using the z, I don't have to make the change manually. This works positive and positive z. And this is true for pole targets on I-keybone constraint, usually when we have certain usual conditions. Alright, so the next will be the challenge, folks, the expression challenge. I have these charts here, and we'll see for the eyes only, and then I'll think what I'll be doing next on this character. Probably the arms. I need to make I know the rest position new that I want for the arms. It will be like that, but the arms will not be twisted this way. This is very complicated. I found out it was a terrible idea for organizing the bones, align rolls and all that, including because I have bendy bones. This was a tragedy actually. Nothing worked very well. I have to detwist. It was crazy. So I'll just have a T-pose, starting from a T-pose, leverage the arm like straight, then perhaps I make some bending of the arm, I'll see. Otherwise it's just nearly the same pose, but the palms pointing outwards, right? And the arms straight, don't need to be 90 degrees totally. It could be something like this, and yeah, so that's the idea. So I unfortunately I have to go all the way through and find out this twisting. The twisting had me, yeah, this was a very bad idea, but it was worth the experience. So now I still want this rest pose. It will be good for the shoulders. And then the cavity, the armpit, is much easier to solve. It's a good pose in general for all the forms of the arm I've tested. Not exactly the pose I want, but some pose around there is actually very good in general. Instead of the T pose and A pose, they are horrible for many of the arms. It's not natural, folks. And but everyone uses its convention, but then we have usually to fix with advanced rigging features. It can be very complicated for organic rigging, so that's why I'm doing this. So this might be what I would like to do next, but after the face expression challenge, of course, for the eyes. But I could address something totally new, and I have a crazy idea, a long time I want to do, which is mouth rig for this character. Yes. So I'm still thinking what could go next, and that would be a good idea for this live streaming. I'm certain that mouth rigging interests a lot of people, and I suspect there's not enough content out there, especially not with bendy bones, spline skinning, and everything that we can use from at least, how to say, custom rigs like I'm doing. So that's it, folks. Thanks for watching once again. Take care. Happy blending. See ya soon. I think I'll be back in a few hours. I hope so. See ya.